I don't know how to get people to pay more attention to the underground rappers I talk about. It's okay. I understand. Kendrick and Drake is always going to perform better. But Che Noir may be the best storyteller in rap music right now. And so that's how I'm just going to start off. And you can sit there and get all clenched and say, but Kendrick, and say, but Nas. And Kendrick and Nas are great storytellers. But when I get through just one of these stories off this new album that she released, The Color Chocolate 2, I think you'll see what I mean. Another thing I'm going to do is listen. There's a lot of great hip hop YouTubers out there. Most of the good ones, thankfully, have way more subscribers than I do, but some of them have less. So I'm also going to try to highlight someone called Hip Hop History Buff, and just talk about their channel and what they do and why, I think you should be watching them. If you're sitting there and you're going, why isn't there more serious hip hop? How come, what was it that Wayno said? There's the good shit and the bullshit. How come the bullshit gets all the attention? How come people want to hear about Diddy's court case, but they don't want to hear about the new McKinley-Dixon album? I don't know. It's human nature, but I'm going to be trying to put you up on Che Noir for the fourth or fifth time on this channel, and I'm going to put you up on Hip Hop Music Buff. But let's just get started with this one song, Buy or Sell. I think this is the best storytelling I've heard in rap in a long time. Now, listen, there's been a lot of people talking about the difficulties of selling drugs and how it becomes like a drug itself. Bruiser Wolf just talked about that on his most recent album, about the way that it's almost like you can be addicted to selling addictive substances. And also, Boldy James talked about it on Main John McNichols, which I finally got around to reviewing just last week. But there's more than men from Detroit who are able to comment on this. And I think in particular, the way Che Noir is able to, on the song Buy versus Sell, illustrate both sides of the drug trade, how dangerous it is, how murderous it is, the ways that it maybe traditionally affects men and women in different ways. It is fascinating. Now, first of all, the beat itself is produced by this really good up and coming Buffalo producer. No, no, not Derringer, not CG, It's what's their name? Che Noir. She self-produces this. Do Luke. Awesome boom bap sweet beat. And it's all about the truth of the drug trade. It's a story about two people, the buyer and the seller, how they're both locked in to a kind of impossible cycle that they can't break out of. It's 9 p.m. She's knocking. She waits for an answer with money that she stole, supposed to pay for the Pampers. Copped the drugs you cook up with a spoon, not a fork. She got a poor taste for smoke. She's still a few dollars short. They say Wanda just like a dog trying to sniff a lick. They say Wanda's going to break some hearts just to get a fix. She's counting change that ain't enough, but this is what she steal to get high. She said it's better than sex, how it feels to be high. Speaking of sex, she got three kids and two different fathers. The last one stepped up, but the first dude didn't bother. She's losing her daughter, and they met at the hospital rehab, tried to stay clean, but it got so cold that she relapsed. Damn. She was at the high school beauty queen. Now she's a loony fiend, plotting on every person that she meet. Her kid's father tried to stop her, but she chose the streets. He tied the knot, but now she used the string. It's all about this. Seems like this is more about using heroin than about crack, but who knows? Whatever it is, it's one of these very, I mean, I'm sure Che Noir knows, and I'm sure you probably know based on the text, but I'm not that hip on drug stuff. What I understand is the important stuff. She's making a portrait of a drug user, of an addict, how it drains from her family, how it destroys her human relationships, how it took away all of her potential. And then we get to the second verse. I compare drug dealers more to the fiends, a lifestyle that come addicted to money, fortune, and dreams. Supporting the needs, victim of poverty, torture king, he cooked to feed drugs to the streets to avoid his greed. He did a bid, but he said he'd never sell a drug again. He relapsed from reality, took off the cuffs from the wrist. The first piece of paper was like a friend's first hit. He served pitch, so did mom when she birthed kids. She need her fix. Took a loss. Guess he learned quick how to squeeze, turn, flip. The first 10 because he earned quick. It seemed perfect. They told you crime pays. That's how you make every dime. I promise this is my last time. Well, that's what they say every every time. The last time to sell drugs, that's what they say every time. The last time to do drugs, that's what every addict says before the next time. Life expectancy, but these streets ain't growing old. Some couldn't do the time they're given, so they told. Compare it to a fiend that escapes when they go to smoke. Prison bids and death to a hustler is overdose. Prison beds and death to a hustler is overdose. Beautiful drawing the comparison, showing the way, the destructive force of these drugs in these communities. I know that the camera is kind of shaky. I'm recording on my bed on top of a bunch of pillows. What are you going to do? I'm talking about Che Noir. By the way, my 2-year-old, big fan. We listen to this album. Che Noir also just had a kid. I don't think she watches my reviews, but if she did, hey, what's up? I hope you're doing well. It's awesome having kids. Maybe my 1-year-old, maybe my 10-month-old will play with her kids someday. Wouldn't that be fun? I don't know. Then we get to the crucial third verse. This is why she's a master storyteller. She told these two stories. Now they have to come together. After rehabs and 12-step plans, Wanda's sober. But the life she came back to was different, and the child is older. Now she's searching for jobs with a comfortable salary, took a drive on the way to the grocery shop, the smoker's plot, fighting urges to pull over because she knows the spots. She snaps out of it, parked her car to go shop for dinner, and cross paths with the that she used to cop that shit from. So it's the seller from the second verse meets the user from the first verse. All she think of is memory of her past life. Retired hustler said the last bid was his last time. So she went to rehab and he went to jail. So they both said we're not going to do it anymore, but they both get pulled back in like Michael Corleone in Godfather 3. But certain memories he just can't escape because checks he's making now in a month he could make in a day. So he made a play, she drove away, gathered her change, she needed to smoke away. She choke and faint, he sold her straight, a bold mistake, he knows it's fate. The fast life and a fast high, who'd have guessed when you said this was your last time might end up being your last time. The sound of gunshots and the sound of someone overdosing, which my 2-year-old didn't know was supposed to be tragic. So she thought it was funny because someone's going, so she was like, anyways, that's not the point of my review. The point of my review is it's beautiful how it all ends in death. We feel empathy, we feel for these figures while at the same time, basically, like watching a horror movie, like, don't do it, don't do it. Just go and get dinner for your kid. Just go to the supermarket. Just stay out of jail. Just stay out of the drug trade. This is how difficult it is. And this is reality rap at its absolute best. But what I want to do now is give you the rest of the review, but I'm tired. I've listened to the whole album a couple times. I love it. It's great. But let's let hip hop history buff tell you about it instead. Okay? I'm going to react to his video. But listen, most times when people react, they react to things that are like extremes, like listen to this extremely deep take or this extremely messed up thing. I'm not doing that. I'm just showing appreciation to a guy out there who's doing this work, who's listening to and reviewing a lot of hip hop projects that don't get a lot of attention. He's not in it for the bullshit. He's just in it for the good stuff. He's the hip hop history buff. So I just, whoa, Jeebus Christ, that's loud. How do I turn that? Is this gonna, okay, good. Sorry, it was just so loud in my ear. So let's just listen and watch. I don't know why I'm talking like Christopher Walken, hip hop history buff, good YouTuber. So let's watch because at least for me, when I click Che Noir review, I'm the first two. Thank you, world, and he is the third. Wait, you know what? I gotta stop this. I gotta stop this share to make sure that the sound is being shared. I'm gonna hit stop share. Then I'm gonna hit share. Yeah, you see, share sound was not clicked, so you would not have been able to hear it. All right. So let's just go with his review and I'll react to it and I'll jump in with my points from time to time.
Or off that makes her one of the
All right.
or checks off. These are just intro storytelling, introspection, production. These are just some of the boxes that Che Noir checks off that makes her one of the dopest newer artists in the traditional rap space. What?
All right. Now he's not pronouncing noir properly, but that's okay. He's not a French professor like I am. All right. He goes over the same thing. Like these are all the things. I like how he calls it the traditional rap space. I've never heard that term before, but I like that very much.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Mixtape Marv. If you are rocking with this content, go ahead and smash that like button. Also,
So if you like this content, go over to Hip Hop History Buff, Mixtape Marvin. You subscribe, okay? You tell me in the comments that you subscribed, okay? Because listen, this is what we need. We need more people talking about music, 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 rap, not bullshit.
subscribe if you haven't. But today I'm gonna be hitting y'all with my thoughts on this new one from Che Noir entitled "The Color Chocolate 2." So trust his first lady, the Shea Butter Queen, Che Noir. She is one of the better female rappers in the game, especially when it comes to bars and substance. I mean, she should be in those top female hip hop lists. But you know those lists are just pretty much based on sales. But Shay is back with her second drop of 2025. Now, earlier in the year, she had released Seeds in Babylon with the producer Superior.
I just gotta say that shirt is absolutely wild. I didn't notice it the first time I watched it. That is, how many different colors are plaid? Is that like a new style out there? I don't know. I don't think I can pull it off. All right.
And last year, her The Lotus Child made it into my top 30 projects. And
Lotus Child was great. Food for Thought was great. Most of the stuff she does is great.
now Che Noir is blessing the streets and the underground with the color Chocolate 2. Follow up to her 2024 EP. Now, this has 8 songs and approximately 20 minutes, so a little more meat on the bones than part one, but not by a lot. This features production from Shay herself. She actually does the bulk. There are additional beats from C4, Drew Dave, and Evidence. But with that being said, let me go ahead and just hit y'all with that track by track breakdown. The opener, Painting Class, has this somber, bare bones sample. There's a very vintage flavor to the beat, and you can just hear the hunger and the passion in Shay's vocals, even though the track is still mellow. Just that thought-provoking confidence. She says, paint a picture with these words through my love for artists. My pen, a paintbrush, my words come out the color chocolate. So
That's one of my favorite lines. Paint a picture with my words, the color come out, the color chocolate. It's beautiful. What a beautiful way of expressing herself and saying what she's feeling. I love how he talks about the passion because she has kind of like a low key delivery, but there's so much passion in it.
overall, very solid opener that lets you know from the jump that she's got some stuff to say on this project. Track 2, though, by Vercel, is a gritty, piano-backed track produced by Shay. Now, the beat itself, it kind of does reflect the harshness of the Buffalo streets that she is speaking on here. And this is really a storytelling gem that keeps you on the edge of your seat as a listener. It's a cautionary tale for those trapped in the streets, whether you are an addict or you are a dealer. There are parallels to how you eventually get caught up. It's some deep stuff, but definitely like the hardest track on here that does showcase
Yep.
her storytelling brilliance. What's next is Who's the Greatest featuring Elzai, set to this misty boom bap instrumental from Shay. Now Shay and Elzai are
Right. I don't know if you can hear my dog downstairs, but my 2-year-old is trying to nap and Toby is just messing it all up. And it's messing up my video. But then if I go down there to get him to be quiet, then that'll get my 2-year-old to like be activated. So I just have to listen to the barking. Anyways, let's get back to this review of the song with Elzai.
dropping some jewels and giving out some game on how to navigate that lonely road to success. Elzai, he sort of redefines what greatness and success should or could look like. Shay had to stand out.
So as Toby barks, I think he's underselling it a bit, which is cool because his reviews are pretty quick. So you're not going to be stuck in there watching him for an hour like you are with me. But Elzai goes into like what real greatness is, and that like greatness is like, people who do good things. That's what makes someone great. It's a great verse.
Lines, weight of the world on my shoulders left me with thick veins buried underneath in buffalo roots of Rick James. That was hard. And Elzai did his thing, of course, with the wordplay and the wisdom that he was dropping. And the hook from Shay, it did bring some flavor to the track. Next is Show and Tell with Love the Genius. And this has a darker More futuristic beat from Drew Dave, and this one is a straight up bar fest. Now, Love the Genius, she killed it. Che Noir did her thing, of course, but Love the Genius was the MVP here. Just
Yeah, I gotta agree. But Che Noir and Love the Genius, the way they're like just the idea that there are so many good, man, Toby will not be quiet. The fact there are so many good MCs from Buffalo, and that there's so many good female MCs from Buffalo, and then that two of them are like, I mean, three of them are friends because Armani Caesar works with them as well. But it seems that maybe Che Noir and Seven Love the Genius are a little bit more, I don't know, on the same sort of like trajectory, or sort of like in the same lane, not even in the same lane, but in a more similar lane. And just whenever they work together, it's so great. It's like whenever Shay is on a love project too, like she'll pop out as well because it's just great hearing this other voice.
just her cadence and her vocal range was really captivating. Things do mellow out on Where You Go. So this has a moodier drumless sample from C4. Shay is in full reflective mode here, doing that deep introspection, talking about once being lost, but now she understands the importance of where she's going. So as a whole, decent track. Right after is Blink Twice, produced by Evidence, and this has a plush piano driven beat that's chill. And Shay talks about overcoming adversity. Some fly wordplay was a penny for my thoughts, all intellect when I spit these dimes. It gives me that it factor. Guess I was penny wise. That's fire.
And my mixtape Marvin just stealing my notes. Like that's why I wanted to do this because like the lyrics that stood out to me, the Pennywise It one, that's in my notes, and so was the Color Chocolate one. So I'm just like, let's just. I think my viewers would like his stuff. So let's
She
share.
also addresses the hate she gets in her own hometown from people who prey on her downfall despite never really making much of their own lives. The second
And that's something, my barber who didn't do a good job on the last haircut, but normally does a good job. He's kind of in the Western New York hip hop scene. He helps to he's the road manager for Beach Boy Nino. So he's like met most of these people. And he says that's one of the hardest things is that there's a lot of like backbiting and competition and jealousy that makes it difficult and that people don't really support other people when they succeed. And then when they succeed, they don't help other people. So it's kind of a rough scene.
last track, Stories, is another gem. There is, of course, storytelling here, but some deeply personal, autobiographical content as well. The beat is ethereal and unique, almost similar to the production on track three. She's pouring out her pain and giving you those transparent bars about her own life. Then this project closes out with New Beginning featuring Sun Little. This has a mellow, jazzy beat with a almost a neo soul type of hook. Shay is talking about self improvement and pushing forward, embracing new beginnings, especially as a mom. In the second verse, I found to be really powerful, where she touches on the loss of her uncle, and it's really a dope way to close out the project. So overall, I'm gonna give this project a rating of a strong 3.5 to
So you're thinking 3.5. Oh no, it's out of 10 because we just live in the world that Fantano created. No, he's talking mics. He's going to the old source method. He rates. Now I don't rate. He does rate, and he rates out of the five mic. So five mics is. I'm trying to think. The most famous five mics was Illmatic. I remember there was a really sketchy five mics once. You can tell me in the comments.
4 mics. Probably just four. This project, it's a continuation of Che Noir's growth as a rapper,
Yep.
as a producer,
Yep.
as this introspective artist,
Yep.
as a storyteller.
Yep.
She has a lot to say in a short runtime. The
That's
storytelling, though, is the focal point, in my opinion, but of course, that introspection was there. Now, in terms of the production, it was very cohesive. She could have probably done it all herself, but
Yep.
there was a decent variety to the beats. But they were mostly on the chill side. The features were on point. You had strong performances from Love the Genius and Elzai. I think this part two was stronger than part one, and I'd say this project, the color Chocolate 2 is on par with the quality of last year's The Lotus Child. Yeah, Che Noir's evolution as a wordsmith, as a beatsmith has
I think it's better than Lotus Child. Lotus Child is probably more ambitious, but I don't know. I mean, this might be my favorite Che Noir project.
been impressive since I first heard her back in 2019. My favorite tracks include Painting Class, By Vercel, Who's the Greatest Show and Tell Stories, and New Beginnings. But let me
It's
know your
basically the
thoughts
whole
in the
album.
comment section. It's your boy Mixtape Muff. I am signing out, but as always, it's peace and blessings. Che Noir, The Color Chocolate 2, 1.
All right. So, I don't know. What did you think of that? Me sharing their thing. I don't know if is it mixtape Mauve or mixtape Marvin? I don't know what it is. Whatever it is, I appreciate his work. I hope you do too. Tell me in the comments that you subscribed to Hip Hop History Buff. Okay? Just just throw that on there. Help him grow. We have to be the change that we want to see in the world, as said Gandhi, I think. I mean, at least it's attributed to him. So, all right, until next time, there's the camera.